cable comes into this building, you don't need to connect the select room, you need to connect the other room up there. So where you split, so simple English, you have equipment that helps you to split and direct your signals. So all these are not manufactured locally, and they are denominated in US dollars. So when we bring them in, they are part of the cost component. But our labor obviously is local. Machinery that we use for drilling, for joining cable and the like is all imported. So it's for the kind of component. And there's a lot of network equipment. Actually, telecommunications, a lot of the equipment, or 90% of the capex that we use in telecommunications is actually foreign currency related. Now, the other thing that happens also is technology changes very quickly. So, for example, we can design a network, and then we put a switch which provides, say, just as an example, 100 megabits to a point. But because of usage of bandwidth, which increases over time, you find we need to upgrade. Or maybe the equipment or the splitter that I was talking about is not switching faster. There's a new piece of equipment that is switching faster, so that it becomes even more real time. Fiber is real time really, but maybe switching faster so that we can provide more people with service. You need to upgrade. So it's a continuous process that we have. So you find that our requirement for foreign currency denominated items to help keep that network at the highest level, that requirement is high as well. Because if we don't do that, then we lag behind. And there are services that we might not be able to support, which maybe the populace require. Okay. Then, what we've done as well, I spoke about fiber, which was like overground and then underground. There are areas that are not easily accessible with fiber. There is, don't mind the term, but it's radio technology that's called LTE. So this radio technology can provide speeds of up to 100 megabits per second, which is what modern technology requires now. So we deploy this now in areas where fiber is not available. For example, you could take remote areas. We are in a lot of outlying areas, as far as Nyanga, in Lupane, different areas. And on this node, we deployed, recently last year, we deployed 197 base stations. So what they do is like, it works just like a base station from a mobile, but it's fixed. So it transmits to the environment, to the people around, so that the people in the rural areas, or the people wherever we put the base station, can also enjoy services which are like or similar to or comparable or competing with the same products which are provided in the areas. And then we have microwave links that also link part of our network or some of our clients that have not been connected with fiber, because it's not viable to connect fiber everywhere. Fiber is very high capacity, so you need to put masses of people together. But we use radio technology or these base stations to provide for areas that we are. But we also use the VSAT that I spoke about to connect areas that are in the outlying areas. I'm not sure as of yet if the committee has been able to provide the map of our network that we provided. But if you haven't, let me just explain. In terms of the fiber deployment, Liquid Telecom has over 20,000 kilometers of fiber already in Zimbabwe. And this makes us feel proud because the coverage that we've done in Zimbabwe. No, it was attached. We sent it through to the Clerk of Parliament as an attachment. Yes. We could provide that to you again later, but I can talk over it. So, for example, let's start from Harare. We built fiber using, and in each of those build, we were. Oh, noted. Thank you very much. We can do that. Noted. Actually, noted, Honorable Chairman, we will do it next time. If you call us, we will do it. We are cognizant of the fact that Parliament might not even have the means to print. We'll do it for you. Yeah, I mean, we are fine with that. We'll do that for you. Yes, yes, it's our Parliament, so we'll do it for our Parliament. But anyway, let's talk over this map. Our fight we built, and in all the connections we were using the 3 ducts that I was talking about and the cables that we were talking about, and the multiple cables in there. I don't want to go into the technical specifications, but along the highway via Kwekwe, Gweru, Bulawayo, we built via Gwanda to Bite Bridge, and this is connecting to South Africa through one leg. Then from Bite Bridge, through they are joined though in Bite Bridge, but through another leg as well, we built from Bite Bridge, Masvingo, Chivu, back to Harare. And then from Bulawayo, we built from Bulawayo to Wange to Victoria Falls, and it connects outside as well into Zambia. And then from Bulawayo, we connected into Plumtree. From Bulawayo to Plumtree, we intend to connect into Botswana. Now, but before I talk about that, let me finish the map. Then we built from Harare via Rua, Rusape into Mutare. Then from Mutare, we connected all the way to Nanga. Then we also built and connected between Gweru through Zishavane Mashava, Masvingo, Rutenga, Chiredzi, Middle Sabi, Chimanimani, all the way back to Mutare. So that's the extent of the fiber that it covers, to the best of our ability, the rest of the country. Over and above that, I wanted to speak on the connectivity outside. Now, because of the shortages of foreign currency, we wanted to provide another redundant link through Botswana. But obviously, for that, we need to have a partner in Botswana, and we need to pay that partner in Botswana to carry our bandwidth or our capacity or our supply in and out via South Africa to the sea. But unfortunately, as it is now, that project is at a standstill, because although we have RTGS that we had prepared to use for that service, we obviously at the moment there is no availability of US dollars to afford us to do that. So those are some of the plans which are now in limbo. But I might also take this opportunity just to praise the Honorable House that because of the connectivity that we've got in Chimanimani and Mutare Middle Sabi, actually we connected 17 clinics and hospitals to our internet services. We had a project that we did with another partner, and we did that. And at least I'm relieved to say that we've been using or the people that are helping out in Chimanimani on relief, on saving people, have been using those services. We've availed those services to the anybody, any institution that would require to connect and help in saving people. We actually also helped in building 3 command centers, or 3, communication command centers to help connect back to Harare and back to the centers of help for the people in Chimanimani. So I just thought that shows at least how this extent of the network has helped. And then I was talking about this system we call LTE, which is the base stations that we've put in remote areas and that are broadcasting to people, where people then can connect. Obviously, at the moment, we've got a challenge because we recently did this network in last year. The challenge that we've got now is we're struggling now to purchase what we call customer premises equipment, the equipment that the customer needs to access that service. We're trying our best to see how we can alleviate that situation, but it requires foreign currency, and it requires us to pay vendors in foreign currency. And unfortunately, almost all the vendors now are a bit apprehensive in terms of we were getting money through loans, and they're apprehensive to grant us or to advance us equipment before we pay, because we haven't even paid for the basic equipment that we've bought now. Okay, so let me proceed. Like I had said, the overall objective of the regulatory environment is to provide and maintain availability at 99.5%. And like I said, even if the committee avails themselves to the Potra's quarterly reports, you'll see we are providing over that. And basically, it's because of the network architecture that we've done. And just as an example, assuming there's a client in Beitbridge who's connected to Harare, and assuming at this point in time they are connected via Bulawayo, and then the signal is going through Bulawayo all the way to Beitbridge. If there is a fault in Gwanda, which means the signal cannot go through, the signal has got several other routes to take. The signal could come via Harare, and this the connectivity on fiber is like lightning, is the speed of light. So nobody will ever notice the difference. Not even us, but it can then be switched through from Harare. Instead of going down to Bulawayo, it goes through Gweru, then goes through Shavane Mashingo, and goes to Beitbridge. Or it could pick a route which is straight from Harare via Chivu, Mashingo, or even via Mutare. It doesn't matter which route that signal takes, whichever route has got the capacity, and that is speed of light. So this is the redundancy that we've got to cover and provide this availability. And this is very critical for banks, for institutions like Zimra, who collect revenue on a daily basis, or an hourly basis, or a minute basis. So this is what we mean by redundancy. Now, obviously, like I've alluded to, we would also want to highlight or improve the redundancy on the outside connection, but that is now affected by the lack of foreign currency and or the difficulty in obtaining foreign currency. I'll move on to the next page. There is what we call IP transit, which is bulk internet. This is also imported bandwidth, and it's incurred and paid for in foreign currency. And this is the bandwidth that we would get through the undersea cables, through other countries, interlocked countries, through the borders into Zimbabwe, and then we provide to our clients. Operating costs, most of our operating expenses obviously are denominated in RTGS, like salaries, or even how to maintain the maintenance of the NOC, although pieces of equipment that we might need to put in are denominated in US dollars. Of course, the challenge that we've got is in the maintenance of this network, because you can see, like I said, it's 20,000 kilometers of fiber. If there is a fault in Wange, maybe there's a technician or engineer from Bulawayo who goes. But if there's a fault in Mtorashanga, actually the other route that I forgot to mention was we are also connected via from Harare, via Chinoi towards Kariba and out of the country as well from Kariba. So, but if there is a fault in Kariba, we don't have an engineer in Kariba. So somebody from Harare has to rush and go. So the challenge that we've got now are costs for fuel. Maintenance costs for vehicles, although those are denominated in RTGS. I trust that the Honourable House will appreciate that that is a build up towards costs, towards our pricing. So it's like you will factor it into a product, because you want to maintain the network at the prescribed level or even better. Then I know I also spoke about, I've already spoken item B now, infrastructure investment and infrastructure sharing. I've already spoken over that, but I think as a company we've put in about 320 million so far to date in terms of infrastructure investment that has come in, and that is all denominated in US dollars. Unfortunately, you will appreciate that this kind of investment is not paid through cash basis. It's on terms, which now we're struggling to meet, to pay, because of the scarcity of the foreign currency. And some of this equipment, or some of this money is owed to the same vendors who are supposed to provide either spares or customer premises equipment. So you can also appreciate that they will be apprehensive in terms of providing that equipment now. Fortunately, I thank the Lord that we are still maintaining our network at that high level. I would shudder to think if a major problem that needed a major investment occurred and we needed a major input of a component, then yes, we will do our best, we'll give it our best, we will do whatever we can, but we will have a major challenge if that happens. So we're trusting that because of the diversity and the redundancy of our network, such dangers can be averted, but you can never know. So, like I said, on infrastructure sharing, I've already mentioned what we do with the overhead network, but also, like I said, there are legs that we share on a commercial basis with other operators. So it's on a need basis. And when they approach us, we discuss, and where we have no reach, we have also gone on to the other operators and we have requested for connectivity, and where other operators have a requirement, we have other operators that have also come to us, and we have thrashed out commercial deals, and we are sharing. There are a number of operators as well that we're sharing with on sites. So maybe sites for base stations and sites for our equipment and the like. And yeah, the other thing that I wanted, if you allow me, Ms. Chair, to go back on the costs, is the cost of diesel. For all our important nodes or our important points or our main switches, which are dotted all over the country, because this network needs support at various points. What we've done to be able to provide for this level of quality that is required, or that you require as customers, we actually have provided on almost all of those dual power generators. So when the power fails, there's one generator which kicks in. If it takes long, and the diesel runs out on the one, the other one kicks in, and at that point we have to deploy engineers with fuel replenishment. So this also puts pressure on our costs, because we do have power cuts now and again, and we do have faults now and again, which need that diesel, and that is part of the infrastructure that we had to buy to enable us to provide quality services. Do you have the numbers? Just a moment, sir. 20,000 liters. Yes, yes. Oh yes, we do have actually. There are other sites we have solar, and on other sites we might have the 2 diesel generators and solar. But it depends on the requirement of the power requirements of that particular site or that particular piece of equipment. If it doesn't require heavy usage, then solar will be sufficient. If it does, solar will be now just to maintain essential services, but not everything. But we do have solar. Let me see where I was. Well, yeah, like I said, we have already deployed 197 base stations on that optical radio network, and we share some of those base stations or tower. We use towers that are belonging to other operators for that. We have, just for information as well, on infrastructure development, we've got a total of 438 Wi-Fi hotspots which are deployed around the country. We've got 222 microwave point-to-point connections that supplement our fiber and other means of communication. Yeah, I've spoken about the backup power. I'm going to the next page. Obviously, with fuel goes the cost of vehicles, maintenance of vehicles, when we move from one point to the other. So, like I said as well, yes, where we have no reach, we use we work with other operators that they have reached, and if we've got clients, then we use them to connect. And the map that I had provided actually was just showing the fiber network, but when you superimpose the satellite, they're pretty much covered. We can provide it anyway, because we can provide visa to any point, even into the middle of Wange, and so we can pretty much cover the rest of the country. I've already spoken of the investment that we put, which was quite extensive as well, in our network operating center, and it's coming handy a lot, and a lot of times, because we easily identify where faults are and we quickly deploy and we put back our services. I might just speak on to finally the Postal and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, POTRAZ, in October 2014, issued a regulatory determination, which was Annexure 4, in which a summary of the what I call the LYRIC, long-run incremental costing model, was carried out by an independent consultant. And the interesting part of that is that it determined that the cost currently incurred in providing fixed voice services, VoIP, data, and internet services, that is for us, the fixed network operators, are significantly higher. The costs are significantly higher than what is currently being charged, which is determined that our costs were lower than our prices were lower than our costs, and this is from POTRAZ, the regulator, and that was then in 1940. We had this disparity. Yes, that was in 2014. sorry, 2014. Sorry, apologies, 2014. That was then in 2014, before now. Now, just to highlight the other scenario that has come up due to the monetary policy statement is because of these amounts of money that we owe outside, the 320 outlay of capex that we did, we owe money. So in our trading, we were saving money because we were told that it's 1-to-1. So if I owed 100 million, I would try to save as much money so that in my payments, on a 1-to-1 basis, I'm going to pay and meet the requirements from where I got the money from. Now, what has happened is, if I owed 120, and if I had 120 as cash reserve in my bank, on that announcement, on that day, it was devalued by 2.5. Currently, the rate is trading at about 3. So it means where I believed I had $120 million, now I have $40 million, which means I cannot service my debt. This is one challenge that has come up. And obviously, it puts pressure on, then how do I price so that I can pay my debt? Because remember, if I cannot pay my debt, if I cannot pay my due, I cannot maintain my network, I cannot build my network, and then there's no service. It might be okay now because we are in a transition period. We're still weighing. But as we move on, there is a challenge that I have obligations from the regulator to keep on expanding, to keep on connecting, especially the rural areas. But now, how do I do that? Because I cannot even afford to pay back what I did put where I've already deployed. So that's a challenge that came immediately, just like a stroke of a pen, and it's affecting us. So you and also you can imagine if on my balance sheet, my assets, if they were also valued at 120 million, and my assets that's what enables me to go and borrow. They were devalued straight away, or the value changed straight away in terms of US dollars from 120 to 40 million, which means what I thought was my security is no longer there, because I used that security to borrow that in US dollars. Now I don't have, and the person that I borrowed from is watching and saying, so how are you? Now your assets, even if you sell your assets now, you can't pay me. So yeah, these are challenges that as players in industry, we have to face, and these are challenges that we're battling with every day on how do we manage it. The thing is, we're not here coming just to cry. We're also trying to work out how do we manage it. But of course, where we can be helped, that's where pricing might help. It will never cover. Definitely, it will never cover for that. But like the Honorable Chair mentioned that the Reserve Bank Governor was around, where we can get support, it helps. I understand also.
But you see, the main purpose why we decided to bring the Reserve Bank was for us to have an open discussion here in Parliament, where yourselves, you are open with the government on the challenges. Then we see how the minister or the minister will still come, is out of the country. Maybe at that point, we will also still call him, because to me it looks like a very serious matter, because even people that borrowed you fund might start causing problems to you very soon. But I think it's a matter that needs
Wasn't it? I thought I recognized you yesterday.
Can I declare that I was not here yesterday? For the record, under oath, I was not here yesterday.
intervention. So maybe the minister, when he comes, will be in a position to give more clarity and help. And also when we do our report, also the recommendations that we will make to that. I think if that's the situation that you find yourself in, really needs to be assisted. I don't know how it can be assisted, but it will also be. Please proceed. Sorry.
No. Actually, thank you very much for that, because I was aware that the House wants to hear the challenges that we are facing, so that together you can help us to overcome them. So I appreciate your comments very much. Thank you very much. And we are very I'm sure if the House wants evidence and proof of what is queuing for us, which is, like I said, over 200 million, we will provide that. So yes, that is quite a big challenge, and it's also affecting our ability even now to borrow on any credit. Okay, you find at Liquid Telecom we've got a group where ordinarily we even our procurement of things is done from a group perspective for scale economies, and they would base whatever they borrow on our behalf on what we have here, on our balance sheet, on our trading, on the numbers that we are trading. So now they are no longer in that position to assist in terms of borrowing on our behalf, because if they go outside, they can't use assets from another country to guarantee what we're borrowing. So yes, as Zimbabwe, Liquid Telecom, we've got a big challenge, and I appreciate your support. Thank you. There was a question, I think, where finally, I'm coming to the end of my presentation. There's a question where I think we were required to provide data prices vis-a-vis SADC region. So we didn't provide that, unfortunately, because we were not privy to accurate information that I could actually bring here and speak under oath to say that this is what is happening outside there. But all I would want to highlight is, as you will appreciate, I'm hoping that my presentation has taken some way to enlighten you on the dynamics that we face, which might not be faced by our neighbors within the SADC region. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As Mr. Makamure indicated, we have been struggling to access the foreign currency that is necessary for us to run our operations. To put it into context, our monthly requirement for foreign currency just on operational issues, without considering the capital investment projects we need to undertake, exceeds 3 million. We have not been able to access even 10% of that through the banking sector. So while there have been instances here and there, and unfortunately I'm not in a position to provide specific figures at this stage, but we can put in a written submission. The currency we have accessed since foreign currency shortages first became apparent in this country has not been 10% of our requirement.
Liquid Telecom, 2016, 16 million. 441,000. Right? 2017, 580,104. 2018, 470,000.
Yeah.
Is it near to what you got?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I'm not able to speak definitively on it. We will accept it. We will check and reference. But I think those figures actually highlight the point that I'm making, that our monthly requirement is in excess of $3 million. And if you look at the last 2 years specifically, the figures that the governor has given indicate that we have received less than $500,000 a year. In percentage terms, that is just a drop in the ocean. And that is the point that we were making when we said we are unable to access foreign currency.
Yeah, but I think what we need maybe with is on the issue of foreign currency, is maybe you can then write back to us confirming this because we want to, when we get figures from not that we doubt but because this foreign currency is such a huge issue in the sector. When we call you guys, you are complaining that there's no foreign currency not being given. Anyway, when we get a picture from the RBC, it's always good to, it's a pity that they do not indicate that no submission figures so that we can just cross-check to see. So, but I appreciate your interpretation. Maybe with your services, how much foreign currency are you bringing into the country, the month?
It varies from month to month, but on average, it is around $200,000 a month.
Are you finished?
Yes.
Thank you very much for a very lengthy submission, well detailed. I think it has given us an idea of the sector that you are in and the challenges. I think what we would want with the permission of the committee members is to request a site visit to Liquid Telecom when we open Parliament, that is maybe during the first week or second week of May,
Okay.
so that we come to your premises and just to try to
understand.
have a tour of your operations so that we have a better understanding of what you have, what you are doing.
Okay.
So I think the staff will follow that. I don't know whether the members are in agreement that we visit them just as a follow-up in May. So we will follow it up with a formal letter of Parliament.
Thank you, Honorable.
So what we do is I will open this session to questions from honorable members of Parliament so that you can pose your questions. Thank you. Let's start with the vice member, honorable member, so as clearly. So I think we must do the first people.
Thank you, then we can share the cost so that at least maybe we can attain a profit.
Wondering how will you consider that in terms of efficiency to say we're spending $3 million in US dollars and we're getting an average of 200,000 per month. How sustainable is that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Chairman, I came here to do this. I want to ask a question that is my first question, asking you, yes, they've given us the figures as to the coverage that they have. But of that coverage, what is the capacity utilization in terms of cost, especially the variable cost, because the more the utilization is, or the higher percent utilization of the traffic is, we're likely to have certain variable costs or fixed costs coming down because they are shared over a bigger volume. Then my other question was partly highlighted by the Honorable Chair. When the Reserve Bank Governor was here, we expected the MNOs to highlight these issues where they will say we have challenges with Forex, and then they recommend a way forward as to how they can be protected as an industry. So I want to throw back the question, assuming that the Reserve Bank Governor was here, how were they going to, as an organization, what recommendations were they going to put forward so that they can create space for the MNOs to be able to access foreign currency? Then, on a supplementary, on the issue that was raised by Honorable Gandawa of 200,000 versus 3 million, I'm saying he has asked the issue of sustainability. So my question is, on 200,000 that they are raising, to what extent are they able to utilize it to pay the foreign commitment, or is that money taken by the Reserve Bank Government? And the other question pertaining to that issue is how they've been raising forex to close the gap between 200,000 and 3 million.
Thank you. All right. Maybe let's allow them to respond, then we'll take another question.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Now, I think I'll try and take them through the same order that they came in. The first was infrastructure sharing. Yes, infrastructure sharing would help in terms of cutting capital costs. It does help. But in most of the areas that we have built, actually nobody else had built before. And like I said, that's why we are building and we're putting 3 ducts in terms of the network, because we're not just building for ourselves. We're building, we took heed of the recommendations that came up prior, before, on infrastructure sharing, although Potters is still working on the modalities, but we took up that initiative that when we build with extra capacity for anybody who would want to come and share with us, and we have some already sharing. So yes, but we were more of a first mover in most of the areas that we've reached. I mean, there was nobody with fiber, for example, in Chimanimani or in Mutare, in that route, Middle Sabi, or even fiber to Victoria Falls, and there was no fiber to Mutare Shanga in the other areas that were. I won't go into that, but yes, I take the question, and it's important, it's correct, it helps. So it's the modalities of how one shares, maybe that then have to be prescribed, and we move like that. But wherever we could, we have been sharing and providing capacity, like I alluded to when I did my first presentation. So yes, I agree with you, and I think it's an area where, as operators, we continue to look at, and we do talk to each other. Contrary to what might seem outside, we do actually talk to each other a lot, and wherever possible we do share. And then there was also the question on the structure of the sharing on Z with ZTDC. What we did was we laid we bought the fiber, Liquid bought the fiber, we laid it on the ZESA infrastructure. So there are gains either way. We gain because we have laid our fiber on a structure that's very safe, where there is no vandalism. On the other hand, we provided ZESA with the connectivity that they didn't have and that they required to connect to their substations. Now they have the capability of, just like our NOC, determining exactly where their fault is, communicating it to their engineers, and responding. So it was a win-win situation where we built that, and we then gave them the capacity that they needed, the fibers that they needed. But in that structure, I will take the opportunity to say, ZESA at that point said, we don't have the money for terminal equipment. That is the equipment that they use to read the faults or the nature of their equipment. And we call it multiplexer equipment for those that understand ICT. They specified the multiplexer equipment that they needed for all the routes that we used, and we bought that for them. We bought that equipment for them, and we gave them. Then ZESA required stringing equipment. This is bought from Italy, and it's not just stringing equipment for fiber, but it's for even their use. They needed vehicles which were 4x4 Toyota trucks to use, not only for our fiber, but for their use. So I won't detail because I didn't come prepared with numbers, but we bought vehicles that we've already handed over to ZESA and equipment. Then there was tent camping equipment used by site equipment. We bought that and handed over that to ZESA. So that was a win-win situation. And also what it did help from, since they are not here, but from their side, it also helped for them to they can now tell as they will and deal power in between, because we are landlocked countries, DRC, SNEL, or Mozambique, or whatever. Now they are in a capacity where they can tell because of the equipment that we bought for them. So that was the structure that we did. So yes, on a daily basis, they are using that capacity. They are using that fiber. And also on a daily basis, we are now utilizing the fiber that we bought and installed to connect to various areas. So it's a win-win situation. I think it's one of, well, in my eyes, it's one of those commendable private and public partnerships that are thriving. Although, of course, it's not talked about that much, but it's helping both. It's helping us. It's helping them. Okay. Then the third question was,